My friends, welcome back to the vlog. Now if you watch this channel, you probably have some level of interest in drones, specifically FPV drones. And that means you're probably already aware that DJI just came out with their first ever ready to fly FPV drone. So let me just say right up front that this drone is something that I personally won't be flying much at all. However, I am so excited about it. And hopefully by the end of this video, that will make sense. So to go through this and explain why I think this drone is going to have such a significant impact on FPV, I'm gonna need a little bit of help. All right guys, so if you haven't met her before in one of my previous videos, this is my girlfriend, Ashley. And she's gonna help me talking about the DJI drone. I'll explain why. If you haven't met me before, if you're totally new here, I'm Drew, go by Drib. I'm a pretty experienced FPV pilot. I've been doing it for years, pretty good at it. And I think for that reason, my opinion of this drone isn't really the one that you should care the most about. And I'll explain why. What's kind of your experience with drones? Like, do you fly drones?
No.
Yeah. Do you have any experience flying FPV drones?
Not really, no.
I mean, a little.
A
Okay,
little.
so we put her in the sim a couple times.
Yeah.
She flew a tiny whoop with me once, like years ago.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. This is more who's gonna benefit from this drone. What's so cool about the DJI drone is that it blends the line between a typical DJI drone and an FPV drone like what I fly. So a typical DJI drone has a ton of flight assistance features. It's basically semi-autonomous. It's got GPS and altitude hold and all this stuff. And that's baked into this. So you can almost fly this drone just like a Mavic. But like I said, it blurs the line, so you get some of the features of an FPV drone. You can fly it through the goggles, and the image that you're seeing is not like typically what you get out of a Mavic. It's low latency, it's instantaneous. So you're getting the FPV view, and you can eventually put this drone into a full acrobatic mode so that it flies just like a real FPV drone. But I guess just like first impressions, what do you think of one of my drones? Don't hold back, don't hold back. You don't have to, so like, this is my signature frame. I designed the frame myself. These are my signature.
I hate the frame.
I think this drone looks great, and I know it flies great. But what do you think as kind of more of like an outsider, like the look?
It looks incomplete. It looks like I'm gonna break it when everything's exposed.
Yeah.
That's intimidating.
Well, you're not gonna break it. It's tough, but I can see how it looks like it just looks exposed.
There's a bunch of wires, you know. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's just like the wires exposed, and I guess I've kind of forgotten to put my prop on. Now, I've kind of forgotten that perspective. Like when I first started getting into drones, that I was a little turned off by how these looked. I wanted something that looked a little bit more polished.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for probably somebody like you or who is in the FPV community for a while, they like that. But then seeing this,
it looks out of the future. It looks like a movie prop.
Yeah, you're right.
Everything about what they're putting together is trying to make it familiar and approachable. So I mean, the goggles are the same. So I only have one set of goggles here. You can use the same goggles for the air unit that's in the drone that I built, or to connect to the DJI drone. But like the radios are different, right? So like this looks pretty crazy, right? Versus that, you know, what do you think that looks like?
Nintendo 64 controller.
Yeah, it's like a game controller, right? And then like, what is about this?
That looks like you're going to send a rocket to the moon.
Send a rocket, yeah, to the moon! This is a consumer grade product. This is a pro grade product. And you know, the professionals, like when you look at like a camera they use on like a Hollywood movie, it does not look like the well-packaged thing that I film my vlogs on, the consumer grade camera. Like a Hollywood camera, like it's exposed metal and like you see wires and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I think too with DJI, knowing that their drones that they have, Mavic, Phantom, that they're mostly for cinematic shots, right?
Right.
So then do you think an intention of DJI was to still keep the cinematic or the cinema with the drone?
This can do sort of cinematic shots. Like the camera is actually gimbaled technically, but it's a single axis gimbal. It does not stabilize the yaw axis or the roll axis. It does that a little bit digitally, but it does have a gimbal on the pitch axis, so it does a little bit of stability, but it's basically going to be a bad Mavic and a not a great like real FPV drone, but it's excellent from getting you from one to the other, and it's really fun. I still do enjoy flying this, and I can freestyle, I can power loop it, I hit gaps, I dove, I did building dives, all the things. But when it gets to the point where I'm really pushing it and really risking a crash, I start to get nervous because I know if I slam this into something, it's not going to fare too well. But I think as people get to the point that they're pushing it, they'll probably want to graduate to something like this. But then they'll be ready.
There's my stepping stone.
So overall, my hope is just that this is going to get more pilots in the air. This is going to take people like Ashley that, I mean, you're kind of interested in flying. Yeah. But when you've tried to actually do this stuff, it's just, there's so many barriers. It's so...
If I can pick up this quickly, then I think...
I'm hoping. I hope that's what this is going to be good for. So I guess let's get this out to an FPV spot. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to see, like, could we just throw you in to an FPV adventure? We're not going to an open field. We're going to go to a spot where there's gaps, there's obstacles to fly around, and like, could you just fly with me? Like, could we just go out and just fly together and just like do, like, have a day of FPV? Yeah. So let's get out there and see how it goes. All right, guys, we made it out to a flying spot. Ashley's got the DJI drone. I think we picked a good spot. Look how many awnings there are. So there's gonna be a lot of things that she can try to fly through, try to shoot some gaps. How you feeling? Are you nervous?
No.
No?
No.
Got the confidence?
Yeah, I guess.
It's a cool sound, right?
Pretty cool.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Mine go like,
all the lights. I like all the lights.
Got some lights. I'm put this over here. So first off, here's the controller. The throttle stick, you'll notice, is not centering. Right. So one thing we could do to make this even more beginner friendly is fly it as it comes out of the box with the throttle stick snapping to the center. So it'd feel kind of as most like a game controller. Okay. I think the best thing to do would right away set up your controller so that the throttle doesn't center. If you're trying to have an FPV experience, it should feel as close as possible. Even though you're going to be flying with an auto level mode and flying with some other assistances that a real FPV drone wouldn't have, I think getting used to the feeling of a non-centering throttle is going to be really helpful. And I'm calling it throttle, but in the beginner mode you'll be flying, it's more like altitude really. So if you're going past center on that stick, it'll take you up. Okay. If you go below center, it'll take you down. If you leave it at center, it'll hold its altitude for you. Okay. So again, I think that'll kind of help with altitude control, because when you're flying a real FPV drone and it is a throttle stick, you kind of find a sweet spot that may or may not be center. Yeah. It'll be probably close, probably like 40% throttle, and that's where you would stay at to maintain altitude. So I think that'll get you used to it. If the sticks are centered, the drone will just stop. Okay. It's GPS. Okay. So the sticks are centered, you can be flying anywhere, just center the sticks, and it'll hold itself. Okay. And if you do freak out, you've got panic buttons. If at any time freak out, you hit this pause button, it'll just stop you. Oh, it'll just stop you, right? Like in air. And if you push and hold it, it'll just come land right where you take off from. Jeez. It'll just be right over there. Wow. Okay. Clip that on your lanyard if you want to. Lanyard. Have the legit. This just looks like a Nintendo 64 controller, and I just love it. All right, now center both sticks. Now if you're about to start taking off. So yaw so you're not facing us. And she's just going for it. She's off. Did you just fly through between two trees? I did. Oh my goodness. This is great. Wow. Oh yeah. You have some amount of collision avoidance. So like if you try to hit something, it'll slow you down. Okay. If you just keep pushing forward, like, no, I really want to hit that tree, it'll let you crash it, but it'll try to stop you. I don't know if this is just DJI or if it's just this drone, but I really like how there's that H, so it points to where the home is. That is special for this drone. Isn't that kind of cool? No, it is really cool. Yeah. Because I have a tendency to always get lost, but then I have this H on the side of the screen with an arrow saying, hey, come this way. Yeah, I'll put up a little screenshot so you know what she's talking about. You guys won't see it in the recorded video, but in the goggles, they overlay like an arrow pointing back to where you took off from, which is super helpful. I think when you're first starting out, you have a tendency to like get lost. You don't have to like push the stick all, so you're not. You can just gently push the stick forward. You can fly through as slow as you want. And is the non-centering throttle stick bothering you at all?
No.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think if one of you guys get this drone, if you're just starting off, just right away, make it so the stick doesn't center.
I mean, yeah, okay. This is crazy.
This worked better than I was like, I thought it would take a little bit of practice.
Like, I can now understand why you would want to get into FPV. Because when I went out with you before, it's just so challenging. And for someone who, were you just celebrating?
No.
Okay. I just went through the entire.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah,
you
that's
just like
crazy.
flew kind of like a drone race course.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that you can just fly so low too, because a lot of new pilots, when they start off, they're like way up there. That's the thing with FPV, like you want to be like under 20 feet, just cruising close to the ground. So maybe, okay, how about in the middle of the awning craziness,
Yeah.
that brick structure, see if you can fly through the upper gap, like this smaller rectangle. I'm gonna run over there and record it third person.
What if I get stuck on the awning? Oh my God. You guys, the things that I do for love.
I'm gonna be blown away if she can do this. What? What? Oh my God, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh. You totally almost crashed.
I know.
Did the drone save you or did you kind of
No,
like?
no, I saved myself.
So you just centered your sticks?
Yeah.
Did you hit the freak out button or anything?
No.
Have you even tried the freak out button?
No, not yet. Should I do it?
Yeah, I guess like get flying forward and just hit the freak out.
Aircraft hovering.
Yeah. And your throttle stick isn't even centered. So now you can center it. And then now once you center it and move it again, then you take it back over.
Yeah.
Do you want to try what I would think would be like the next step in working towards acro FPV?
Sure. Should I bring it home and then you can explain it?
Or just land here, just hold the throttle stick all the way down.
What do you mean?
Just, yeah, put it down,
Just put
let
it
it,
down?
and it'll just land itself.
Auto landing in progress. That's just like, that's insane. Okay.
Yeah. I think the next step toward acro is getting used to the idea that when you're in an acro mode, you pitch the drone forward and then you center the pitch stick, right? Because remember in acro mode, it doesn't auto level, it doesn't fight you. So like when you move the pitch or roll stick, it just keeps flipping and rolling in that direction until you stop it at any orientation. So if you want to fly forward, you pitch forward to angle it and then you center the pitch stick and it'll keep flying at that angle. So something that simulates that feeling is they have kind of like a cruise control mode. So you're gonna push and hold forward until you're at a speed that you're comfortable at. So you're pushing and holding forward. And then when you're at a speed you're comfortable at, you're gonna hit this button that says start. Click it, and then you can center your pitch and you'll keep flying at that speed, even with the stick centered. So it'll be kind of, it's called cruise control. I think they call it cruise control.
And then I'm just going around with this?
Pretty much that's all you have to do. Again, I would practice steering with both sticks.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna put you in sport mode.
Okay. Sport mode is just an obstacle, something unavailable. So I think I can just.
Okay, now it'll just let you crash into stuff. Okay, so yeah, maybe be careful because it won't stop you now.
Oh God, okay.
Did you hit the panic?
Whew. No, I just hit the down thing.
What down thing?
The thing to land. Because it freaked me out.
Sport mode was a lot.
It was, I mean, just trying, I think I was just going too fast.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how fast.
You can just, yeah, sport mode's sensitive. So just gently push forward and then hit the cruise control button.
Oh, hey.
So there, it's just flying. It's just flying forward. So you can manage your throttle up and down and you can steer.
I feel like this makes more sense to do this, like your first step.
Right away?
Yeah.
This is intimidating. For it to be flying forward on its own, I think that's a little too much to jump straight there.
Is it though?
I think so.
I mean, this way you're only controlling one stick though.
I guess that's true. Try to use both. Try to get that
like,
muscle memory of steering both together. I just mean like when you steer, move
low
both
battery,
sticks left and both sticks right.
Auto RTH in 4 seconds.
So
Press
it
brake
just said
button.
you flew too long, so it's just bringing it home.
Geez.
Just let it.
Just let it go?
It's okay. It's no problem. It's coming down from where you took off. So that's kind of like another thing. You don't even need to worry about killing your batteries. I still mess it up. I get like in the flow, I'm flying, having a great time. All of a sudden I look down at my voltage.
Yeah.
And I've taken my 4-cell battery down to 12 volts and I'm like, and I've ruined that battery.
Is it gonna go? Oh, there it is.
Here, we'll have you change your own battery.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So this is a little different from one of my drones that you just like plug in. You have to turn the battery off. So you see that button on the back? So push once and then push and hold. So one, now hold and wait for it. Now the battery is off. You can let go.
Okay.
Which means the drone turns off.
Yeah.
So now you can unplug that connector at the top of the drone and then you can squeeze the two things on the side.
Oh, whoa, that was easy.
So you stick it in the drone, push once, and then push and hold. And then set her down wherever you want to take off from. Okay, so you're still in normal mode, so if you want to fly out to the more open area, I can flip you into sport mode again.
Okay.
Did you just tap something? What was that?
It was a tree.
You flew through the tree? You're just shredding. It's so funny.
If I wanted to like look up though, can I do that in this mode or no?
Look up? You can actually change the camera angle.
No, I mean like not change the camera, but I want my drone to go hee hee.
No, you'd have to be in manual mode for that. Like if you want the camera angle to be actually tied to the movement of the drone.
Got it.
That's
okay.
That's manual mode.
Okay. Jesus.
That vertigo.
Yeah.
I'm impressed you're doing that standing in high-heeled boots too. Here, we'll just go right over here. We'll just lean you right against this pole. Now you see all like the real pro FPV pilots, they stand right on the edge of the building as they're flying or whatever, but like, I mean, I lean on something if I can. I can just stand, but, and clearly she can too, but you got something to lean on. Just lean on it. You're like weaving.
I know. You know, I once took a motorcycle course, and they said that when you get better at it, you become more reckless.
That is fair.
And that is fair.
Is that what's happening?
Boom.
Oh!
That's exactly
why you just said it too. Arm it and just try to. Uh-oh. Nope. Stop it.
Did I break a motor?
I think.
I mean,
I don't know. Let's go see what the damage is.
Oh no! I just broke something expensive. Oh yeah. There she is.
Looks like it's just.
Can you just bend them like normal? Other ones, or should you replace it?
The correct answer is you should always replace it. Oh. And even on one of my drones,
don't.
I know I don't all the time. I should, but like it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't if I was flying somewhere, like if I was flying a drift event, a single nick, I'd replace the propeller because I do not want to go down where the cars are driving.
Yeah.
But here, I'm just ripping a spot. I'm only risking crashing my drone. I'd probably just fly it again.
Yeah.
These though, I don't know.
Funny.
So I wouldn't, not on this quad.
Okay.
So we'll replace it. So do you know how to change a prop? Or you've seen me do it, right?
Yeah. You have a little tool, your prop tool.
Yeah, that just here, push down, half rotate, and it pops off.
Crazy.
So it's cool because you can change the props so easily. All right, we got some fresh props on, and I'm gonna do a little post crash. Just make sure it still flies. I'm gonna just check it out.
So this is manual, yeah?
Oh yeah, I put it in manual mode. So isn't that crazy to see that it can do like one of my drones?
This is crazy.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't fly as good as one of mine. Like, if you guys are watching the FPV footage, that bobble was crazy. My drone wouldn't have bobbled. Now I could fly it smoother too. I could be extra careful to avoid the prop wash there. That was nice and smooth. But doesn't fly as good as one of my drones, but like it flies pretty good. And the fact that you can fly, one of those very beginner-friendly modes, and work your way up to doing this stuff. There's a fair amount of steps in between one of the beginner modes and like this though.
So,
but the same stuff, like look, I'm like, oh, I'm upside down, panic, freak out. Oh, it just stopped.
that is, what?
Just wherever I left the sticks, it just stopped it.
Dude, that's crazy.
And then here, and I can put it in normal mode, and I can just hand you the controls and you can have it.
Okay.
All right, you flew all 3 batteries.
Yeah.
Instantly got it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it was not hard. I don't know.
Was
incredibly,
it fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's very user-friendly. I think that someone who doesn't have drone experience can easily pick this up and go out to a field or here even, and then just pop it up. I can take this out by myself, or I could go to rotoride.com, pick it up, and then, go do it myself and not have you around. So,
or like we could go flying together. Like I could bring my drone and I could just be flying, you could be flying. Like we could actually just fly. That's wild.
Absolutely.
That's wild.
I mean, you would be doing cool stuff, but yeah.
So we flew.
Yeah.
It was a good session.
Yeah.
Had a little crashing.
Yeah.
Nothing serious broke, just some props.
Yeah.
All in all, like it was like a quintessential session.
Yeah.
Which now means we need to go have tacos.
Tacos sound really good.
Full drone experience has to end in tacos.
I want to do it again. I thought.
Do you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how. So we could fly drones together, just like that, instantly. You didn't really need any supervision. You didn't need me to mess with you. I was pushing you to try stuff because like if I wasn't doing that, you could have just flown around just fine. I could have been flying at the same time. We could have been chasing each other.
You were helpful as far as a
I wasn't too
coach,
pushy. Wasn't too
teacher.
pushy.
No, last time you tried flying, he was super pushy.
No.
Do better.
Because I think the DJI FPV drone is pretty awesome. Definitely not for me. You've been watching this channel for a long time and you're an awesome pilot too. It's probably not for you either, but hopefully some of you guys are new. If you guys are curious about FPV and you found my channel, hi, how are you? Welcome. I think it's pretty safe to say that you'll have a good FPV experience with it. Ultimately, if you get serious about it, I think you'll end up wanting to fly a drone like mine, like a real like pro spec drone made of carbon fiber, super durable, all that crazy stuff. But for just getting into it, seeing if you're going to be into it, getting the experience quickly, it's a pretty dang good option. Well, that's the hope, because I want this whole thing to grow. Like, we want FPV to be more popular, more mainstream, and this could be a way that sort of happens. These tacos, though. If you're in the Orlando area, alright, Hunger Street Tacos.
Hunger Street Tacos.
Very bueno. Very bueno. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you next time.